Hi there, my name's Jo Fox. I'm a personal trainer, a spinning instructor, and mum to Henrietta Fox, who is a Year 3 student at Bishopstone C of E Primary School. Firstly, I wanted to say thank you so much for taking part in our 24-hour Christmas cycle. We're obviously raising money for the new playground for Bishopstone School, and everything you're able to do, whether it be sponsorships or donations, is truly appreciated at this time. Please do come down and join us and invite all your friends and family. Obviously you are cycling for 30 minutes, but there is opportunity to do some different activities. Anyway, why am I here today? I'm here to talk through the Peloton bike. This is the bike that you'll be riding on throughout your duration of cycle. And realistically, the bike is pretty simple, but it's nice to be able to understand the safety and the comfort aspects of this bike before you start your cycle. So as I said, my name's Jo, and I'm just going to take you through the step-by-step guide on how to set up the Peloton bike. So first of all, let's talk about the adjustment of both the saddle and the handlebars. So first of all, we're going to start off with the saddle. So as you can see, the saddle here is a little bit lower than what we need it to be. There's a couple of adjustments we can make to that saddle. And what we're trying to do is bring that saddle to around about our hip height. To do this, there's a lever at the front here, which we can just loosen off by rotating. And then simply we lift that saddle up in line with our hip, and then lock back into position. If you're quite tall, we can then start to look at this lever here. This lever here, again, same option, rotate out. And if you're slightly taller, or you want to lengthen through that spine, then really lift that lever and take that seat all the way back. For myself, I'm 5'3". I find that it's actually better to move that all the way in and reposition it. This one here isn't as important as where we find the height. Going back to here, do make sure that that lever finishes in the upright position. If that lever ends up hanging to the left or the right hand side, when you start to saddle or cycle even, you're going to end up colliding that lever between the legs, and you're going to leave the event with some bruises on those thighs. So let's not try not to do that. Okay, we're then going to move over to the handlebars. Now, as a general rule, the handlebars should be about in line with the saddle. So for those of you that may have a little bit of back strain or something like that, then the option is to lift those handlebars slightly higher than the seat. But taking a quick step back, having a look at the alignment, if you can find that level alignment, then you're ready to cycle. Again, there's a lever located here around the side. You can simply untwist and use that same process up and down to find that position and then lock it back in to place. Okay, let's jump on the saddle, and let's just make sure that this alignment that we've created is right through our legs. Okay, so as you jump on the saddle, what you're looking for is an almost straight leg. There needs to be a slight bend to the knee, but only a slight bend. When you bring that foot down to that 12 and 6 position, make sure that the leg is straight with the floor and you're straight through hips, shoulders, hips, knees and ankle joints in a straight line. If we have that slight bend to the knee, then we find that we put more strain, or if we overextend, we push through our hips. So this is a general rule of thumb where we want to see you on that saddle. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the pedals themselves. So when it comes to cycling, there's two different options you have. You can turn up in your spinning shoes. Now please be careful, there are a couple of different types of spinning shoes out there. These are the shoes you need. When you look at the bottom of the shoe, you can see the different forms of cleats. This cleat here is predominantly used for off-road cycling. So if you're a seasoned cyclist outdoors, then you will probably be wearing these, and therefore you can turn up and you can cycle with your shoes. If, however, like me, you're inside a studio, usually on a spinning bike, then unfortunately the cleats are slightly different. They are smaller and they are predominantly metal. Those will not fit onto these pedals today. So please do check your spinning shoes if you're planning on bringing them to make sure that they are the right type. However, if you are not a seasoned cyclist or you don't own a pair of these, then your trainer's absolutely fine. This is called the cradle. Here you simply place your foot in your trainer into the cradle. Once the foot is slotted in, please pop the toes straight all the way through down into the bottom of that cradle. And then here you can adjust with a little clip. You pull the strap through to tighten on the foot. It really is as simple as that. Two different options for two different ways of cycling. Okay, so now we're going to talk about that resistance on the bike. You may opt for a really simple light cycle. You may be wanting to take part in a couple of the competitions that are running, i.e. the longest cycle. With that, you're going to need to think about the resistance. Here, located between the handlebars, is the resistance knob. You will turn that knob clockwise to add additional resistance. That makes the cycle feel harder, but believe me, if you're going for distance, you might want to think about using this. Equally, to turn down the knob back into that anti-clockwise position, you will start to create less resistance through those legs, and those feet may move a little bit quicker. Depending on what you're trying to do today, really do think about adding the right resistance to create the right type of cycle. Okay, so before we finish, let's talk about the brakes. The only time you're going to really need to pull this brake is if it was an emergency. If for some reason you're feeling dizzy or need to get off the bike as a matter of urgency, you do need to stop it quickly. It's a bit like getting in a car really when you do your first driving test and they tell you to put that emergency stop on. So are you ready? 3, 2, 1. So the knob that we've used to add and release that resistance is also your emergency bike brake. By pressing down heavy on them will bring the bike to a complete standstill. You can then exit off of that bike and seek medical attention or whatever it is that you require at that moment in time. That is only to be used in those real occasions. If you needed to slow down your resistance for any reason, i.e. your legs were taken away with you, you just needed to get back under control. Again, same process, just a slightly slower pace in hitting that button. And our final thing now is to just get off of that bike. Okay, for most of us that is as simple as just stepping down, but please be aware that you have been sweating. 30 minutes of exercise can cause some people to profusely sweat, so think about that floor around you. When you come off of the bike, if you're in the cradles, you'll need to loosen off the straps simply by pushing them down away, and you can take that foot out. If you're in your cleats, a simple twist and motion will help remove that foot out. As you step over and off of the bike, again, please be careful of the floor around you. Remember, we have 2 minutes between each cyclist, so somebody will come in as you step down off that bike, give the bike a wipe down, as well as that floor space around you. Make sure you have a little stretch out, and then walk away. Thank you for taking the time to set up the bike with me today. On behalf of Bishopstone C of E Primary School and Friends of Bishopstone School, FOBS, we truly appreciate your support. Your efforts in raising money, whether it's through sponsorship or donations from yourself, we truly do appreciate your support. This 24-hour Christmas cycle could not be possible without you. So come along, bring your friends and family and have so much fun with us. Whether it's grabbing a bacon roll on Saturday morning or playing a little bingo with us on Friday night. Thank you again for all your support and happy cycling.